Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions. It's a movement that started back in 2005 in an effort to put economic pressure on Israel to end what the movement calls Israel's occupation and colonization of Palestinian land. While it's hard to measure the economic impact that the Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions movement, commonly known as BDS, has had over the past 10 years, the political and the social ramifications on Israel are a constant struggle for the country's reputation. Ben-Dror Yemini is a world-renowned journalist and author of The Industry of Lies, a book that explores the Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions movement. We recently sat down with him in Tel Aviv.
BDS is Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions against Israel. It's a kind of an umbrella organization that was founded in 2005. A lot of Palestinian NGOs published a common declaration in 2005, which began the BDS as we know it now, and that's why we call it BDS. But the BDS is mainly one of the greatest deceptions of our generation. It's one of the greatest deceptions because they are speaking in the language of human rights, when actually what they mean is politicide. The extermination of one state on earth, the denial of the right for self-determination of one state, only, but only for the Jewish people. They single out Israel all the time. And when you ask how comes that you demonize Israel, and you never speak about other countries, like Britain, what Britain did in Iraq or Afghanistan. And they tell you, well, you know, what other armies are doing in other countries, it does not mean that you can justify what Israel is doing. Wow, very interesting. I mean, but how comes that you single out Israel? How comes that you don't see a demonstration against the oppression of women in so many parts of the world? How come? How come that they only, but only, demonstrate against Israel again and again and again?
We support the Anti-Father!
Ben-Dror Yemini says the success of the Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions movement is because of the lack of knowledge about what the movement is truly about.
I was a person of the radical left. I still am on the radical left.
Self-described radical leftist Professor Norman Finkelstein, who has written extensively against Israel over the past 30 years, has come out strongly against the BDS movement.
BDS seems to have convinced itself that BDS can liberate Palestine. We are a rights-based organization, which is what BDS likes to say, and we want to enforce our rights. And you'll never hear the Solidarity Movement say, 2 states. It's not an accident, an unwitting omission that BDS does not mention Israel. You know that, and I know that. It's not like they're, oh, we forgot to mention it. They won't mention it because they know it will split the movement, because there's a large segment of the movement, component of the movement, which wants to eliminate Israel.
I think BDS is based and prevails mainly because of ignorance. We always say that knowledge is power. The BDS proves that ignorance is power, because the whole success of the BDS is the story of ignorance. People don't know. When people don't know, they can be manipulated.
You are going to hell one day or another. Since when Israel exists? 48 in New Asia? Go to hell, go where you come from, guys. Go back to Germany where they can kill you again.
It's very interesting because many times they tell you, well, we are not anti-Semites, we are anti-Zionists. But it's very interesting because the patterns of propaganda against Israel are the same patterns that was carried out in the 30s. You know, once I defined anti-Zionism as a politically correct anti-Semitism. And unfortunately, I was correct, because they follow the same patterns. But they keep on saying, but we are not anti-Semites. And you know, there are so many Jews among us, which is right. I mean, there are many Jews. Now, Jews can allow themselves to be politically correct anti-Semites. You see, we don't speak about Jews. We speak about Israel, but they follow the same kind of propaganda. They follow the same kind of demonization. They follow the same kind of lies.
I want to know, how come the European Jews control everything?
The European Jews do not control everything. What do the European Jews control? You're talking racist nonsense. You're saying that white Jews control the world. That is racist.
That's exactly was the propaganda against Jews in the 30s. That's exactly the propaganda against Israel nowadays. Unfortunately, some Jews are part of it.
You Zionist. Get the out!
I will stand here and I will heckle you until you leave. What?
Before we thought that it's only in Europe, this kind of school of mind. But in the last 5 years, I would say that the BDS is even stronger in the American universities and colleges, and even comparing to Europe. The US universities are not immune from this kind of propaganda, from misinformation, disinformation, ill-information. Unfortunately, lies prevail.
With this anti-Semitic, anti-Israel movement gaining traction around the world, it's unclear how far the political pressure will go before the truth comes out about the BDS movement's real motivation. For TheRebel.Media, I'm Igal Hecht.